What if a single leg cramp could steal away your freedom in old age? Have you ever been jolted awake at 3 a.m. by a sudden painful cramp? If you have, share your story with us. We're listening. No one would have guessed that a simple muscle spasm could knock down a man like Mr. George, a 74-year-old former firefighter on the cold bathroom floor at 3 a.m. That night, he woke up like usual to use the restroom. But the moment his foot touched the floor, his right calf clenched up violently. He stumbled and then collapsed. No bones broken, no blood spilled, but something deeper cracked inside him because just minutes later, the door swung open. His son, over 40, rushed in, panic in his voice. "Dad, what happened?" Mr. George nodded slightly, said he was fine, but deep down he wasn't. It wasn't just pain he felt, it was shame. He felt like he was starting to lose the ability to take care of himself. That night he couldn't sleep, not from the pain, but from the fear. The fear that one day he might not be able to stand up on his own, that he'd need his son to help him take every step in the home he once built. The fear of becoming truly a burden. And then he made a quiet promise to himself. If one small change could help me take back control of my legs, my sleep, and my pride, then I'll try it. The next morning, he began with the simplest change of all, the food he ate. Today on Golden Wise Elders, we're sharing Mr. George's story and the 8 everyday foods backed by science that can help people over 60. Reduce leg cramps, rebuild muscle, support nerve health, and most importantly, let you sleep through the night peacefully without being yanked awake by pain in your legs. If you've ever felt the same fear Mr. George did, or worry that one day you might watch this video to the end, because sometimes the smallest change in your meals could be the one thing that protects the greatest freedom in old age, the ability to walk on your own 2 feet. And often, change begins with something as small as adding an egg to your breakfast. After that fall, Mr. George's son took him in for a full checkup. Now, Mr. George thought he was doing fine, still walking, eating well, staying active. He even saw himself as a healthy old man. But when the doctor looked at his results, he gently shook his head. "You've got a serious B12 deficiency," the doctor said, his tone both calm and firm. "That's one of the key reasons behind your cramps, the numbness in your hands and feet, and why you can't sleep deeply." Mr. George blinked in confusion. B12? No one had ever told him it was that important. He thought drinking water and eating veggies was enough. Turns out it wasn't. The doctor continued slowly and clearly because he knew he was speaking to an older man. Not someone who needed complex medical jargon, but someone who needed simple, powerful images. "Think of B12 as the protective coating around your nerves," he said. "When your body doesn't have enough, the messages from your brain to your muscles get scrambled. That's why your legs cramp up sometimes when you least expect it, like in the middle of the night." Mr. George thought back to those nights. That strange mix of pain, numbness, frustration, not knowing what caused it, not knowing how to fix it. Now he had the answer. And it wasn't some mystery illness. It was something he'd simply overlooked. B12. What shocked him even more was what the doctor said next. At your age, over 80% of older adults are B12 deficient, and they don't even know it. Especially if they've had diabetes or have taken stomach medications for years. Those things quietly block B12 from being absorbed. And then the doctor mentioned eggs. Just 1 egg a day used the right way could give Mr. George a major boost in B12. Eggs aren't just packed with high-quality protein. They also contain vitamin D, which strengthens bones and helps your muscles move smoothly. From that day forward, Mr. George made a new habit. Each morning, instead of grabbing a dry piece of toast, he boiled an egg, added a slice of avocado, and a few fresh tomatoes. Nothing fancy, but it was a choice, a small act of taking back control. And over time, it became a turning point. 3 weeks passed. No more sleepless nights. No more sudden cramps squeezing his calves at midnight. And most of all, he started believing again that his body was still listening. He just needed to learn how to speak to it gently. Have you ever had your B12 levels checked? Did you know that even a mild deficiency could lead to tingling in your hands or feet, or make you lose your balance while walking? And have you ever thought that one simple egg in the morning might just be the most powerful gift you could give your body? If you're worried about cholesterol, don't hesitate to start with just the egg whites. And if you're a semi-vegetarian, eggs are actually a perfect choice, easy to digest, simple to prepare, and gentle on the aging body. Just imagine this. After 3 weeks, no more jolting awake in the middle of the night from pain. You sit up, you place your feet on the floor, and you feel your legs quietly whispering back, "Thank you. You." That's what Mr. George found again. And it could be something you discover too, all starting with a single humble egg. Are you eating eggs every day? Have you ever noticed something change just from one small tweak in your morning routine? Because if something as simple as an egg could help you sleep better, hurt less, and feel more in control of your body, why not start tomorrow morning? The truth is, there are so many people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who feel just like you, tired of the cramps, afraid of losing their independence, wondering, how can I stay healthy without relying on medication? If you've been there, tell us what you're doing to feel better each day. If you're trying something new, leave a word of encouragement. And if you're still looking for that first small step, leave a comment. I'll start tomorrow. Make it a promise to yourself. Who knows? Your words might just be the reason someone else somewhere out there decides to take that first step too. And if this message feels valuable to you, please share this video with a friend, a family member, or someone you want to see stay strong, hopeful, and in control of their life, one small step at a time. Food too is bananas. Some pains aren't strong enough to send us to the hospital, but they're persistent enough to make us forget what a full night's sleep even feels like. For Linda, 71, that struggle lasted nearly 5 years. She didn't have any serious health issues. Her blood pressure was fine. Her heart was healthy. But every night, just as her body began to relax into sleep, a strange sensation would creep in. Sometimes it was a small cramp in her calf. Other times it felt like an invisible hand was squeezing just below her knee. And on the worst nights, she'd bolt upright, breathless, massaging her legs through what felt like a quiet storm of pain. She told herself it was just age. That's just how it goes when you're old, she used to say. But her daughter, a nurse, didn't believe that. She asked about her mom's evening meals, then gently suggested, "Mom, what if you added just one small banana to your evenings? It might help you sleep better." Linda laughed. "A banana? You really think that'll fix these cramps?" But she tried it anyway. She figured, what did she have to lose? The first night? Nothing special. But by night 3, she noticed something. She hadn't had to spring out of bed. No more feeling like something had yanked her out of sleep. And after a full week, she slept through the night. For the first time in almost 5 years. This wasn't magic. It was science, simple, but often forgotten. Bananas are one of the richest natural sources of potassium. One medium banana holds around 400 units of potassium, about 12% of a senior's daily need. Potassium helps maintain the electrical charge that lets your nerves and muscles communicate. When you're low on it, signals get scrambled, muscles misfire, and cramps sneak in unexpected and uninvited. But that's not all. Bananas also provide magnesium, which helps relax muscles, and vitamin B6, a quiet helper that reduces inflammation in nerve tissues and boosts serotonin production to calm your mood and regulate sleep. People often think of bananas as a fix for constipation, or something sweet to throw in a smoothie. But few realize eaten at the right time, in the right way. A banana can be a natural sleep aid, especially for those who keep waking up from those painful nightly cramps. Of course, not everyone will respond to bananas like Linda did. But for older adults who often cramp at night, especially after exercise, dehydration, or diuretics, bananas are one of the simplest, safest, and most natural ways to help. Later, Linda shared something unexpected. She didn't just sleep better. She fell in love with her nighttime routine. She began ending her day with a warm bowl of oatmeal topped with sliced ripe banana and a few walnuts. Then she'd sit by the window and watch the sunset. "It feels like I'm taking care of myself gently with love," she said. And she was right. More than just a source of potassium, a banana at night became a small act of kindness, one that told her body, "I'm listening to you now." If you've read this far, maybe you felt those cramps too. You've read, or maybe you know someone who's suffering every night, silently. So why not try? One small banana at just the right moment might be the first step to deeper sleep, lighter steps, and a more joyful life. Let your body rest the way it's meant to. And remember, sometimes what you need isn't a prescription. It's a little more kindness toward yourself. When do you usually eat bananas? Before bedtime or after your afternoon walk? Have you ever tried changing your evening snack to improve your sleep? If that part of the story felt familiar, don't take your eyes off this video just yet, because up next is a tiny source of nutrition, but with the silent power of a muscle-repairing warrior. They're just seeds, straight from nature, but Mr. George likes to call them his pocket vitamins. One morning, Mr. George walked into the kitchen. Sunlight was peeking through the thin curtain, glinting off a bowl of oatmeal his daughter-in-law was preparing. Next to it sat a small glass jar, filled with a mix of brown, ivory, and moss green seeds. "What's that?" he asked. "Just some seed mix, Dad. Pumpkin seeds, walnuts, flax seeds, super healthy. I add them to my yogurt every morning. Mr. George looked at that colorful bowl, then glanced back at his usual breakfast, dry toast with peanut butter. And he asked himself, how long has it been since I gave my body something new? That evening, he sat down at his computer and typed, magnesium and muscle cramps in elderly. The first result? An article from Cleveland Clinic, one of the most respected health centers in America. One line caught his eye. Magnesium deficiency is a common cause of muscle cramps, soreness, and sleep disturbances in older adults. He kept reading. Magnesium not only helps muscles relax, it acts like a switch to turn off excess nerve stimulation. Without it, the body becomes overactive, leading to cramps, racing heart, even mild anxiety. Then another sentence popped out. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of magnesium. Just one handful, about 28 grams, provides nearly 40% of the daily magnesium needs for adults. That same evening, Mr. George got a call from his old friend Walter, 68 years old. They chatted, and Walter casually mentioned that his shoulder pain had eased up ever since he started adding walnuts to his breakfast 3 times a week. Really? George asked, curious. Absolutely. My nutritionist said the omega-3 in walnuts is fantastic for circulation and reducing inflammation in muscle tissue. I had chronic shoulder aches. They're so much better now. That was a turning point for George. He used to think of seeds as diet food or something trendy. But now they look like a gentle, effective solution tailored for older bodies like his. The next day, George gave it a try. He tossed a handful of dry roasted pumpkin seeds and crushed walnuts onto his yogurt with a few fresh strawberries. Nothing fancy, but something shifted. The creaks in his knees when he stood up? Quieter. The tension in his calves after walking to the post office? Softer. The biggest change? At night, his legs felt calm. He wasn't fidgeting under the covers anymore. And in the morning, he woke up lighter, more refreshed. Magnesium helps soothe the nervous system. Omega-3 in walnuts is like a cool stream flowing through inflamed tissue, gently refreshing from the inside out. Even a seasoned body like George's can still recover when it's nourished with the right, simple, natural things. Did you know, sometimes, choosing a handful of seeds instead of a salty snack is all it takes to reduce pain and inflammation without a single pill? A small handful of seeds, no salt, no sugar, is like whispering to your body, I hear you, I care about you. Have you ever tried adding seeds to your breakfast? Pumpkin seeds, walnuts, almonds, which one do you like best? Try it for a week, just a small handful a day on its own, over oatmeal or mixed into your morning yogurt. And notice your legs, your shoulders, your sleep, because healing doesn't always start with something big. Sometimes it begins with small, kind things done consistently, like a handful of seeds you give yourself each morning. Because no matter what age you are, life still deserves to feel light, steady, and deeply, deeply kind. Up next, we'll talk about a drink that seems simple but carries surprises both good and risky. It's a summer favorite, refreshing and familiar, but for older adults, it could be a double-edged sword if you're not careful. We're talking about coconut water. Have you ever had coconut water before bed? Did you know it could actually help you sleep deeper or throw your body's electrolytes off balance if not used correctly? There were nights when Mr. George would wake up in the middle of the night, not from cramps, but from thirst. His throat was bone dry after a salty dinner and a day without much water. But here's what was odd. The more plain water he drank, the more drained he felt. His calves still ached. His body felt like it was missing something deeper. One weekend, while visiting his granddaughter, Mr. George was handed a cold glass of coconut water. Here, Grandpa, it's really good for you. She smiled. I learned this in yoga class. Coconut water helps restore electrolytes after exercise, Mr. George had always thought of coconut water as a simple summer refreshment, something sweet and tropical that came with vacations in Florida or hot sunny days. But that night, after drinking it, something surprising happened. He slept straight through the night. Not a single leg cramp. Intrigued, he started digging a little deeper. An article from the University of California caught his attention, especially one line that made him stop and read it twice. Older adults with low electrolyte levels are 3 times more likely to suffer from leg cramps than those with balanced mineral intake. Electrolytes? Not just water? It turns out that what his body had been missing wasn't plain water. It was potassium, magnesium, and sodium minerals that act like messengers between the brain and the muscles, helping the body move smoothly and maintain its natural rhythm. Coconut water, so gentle and unassuming, actually contains around 600 milligrams of potassium per glass. It also offers magnesium to relax the muscles and a small amount of natural sodium to help balance fluids in the body. He started a new routine: 1 glass of coconut water in the late afternoon, after a light walk or time in the garden. And soon enough, he noticed his sleep became longer, less restless, and most importantly, no more sudden leg cramps waking him up in the dark. But there was one thing many people didn't know, and Mr. George almost missed it too. An old friend of his, Mr. Calvin, started drinking coconut water daily after hearing about George's results. But after just 1 week, Calvin felt strangely fatigued. A visit to the doctor revealed the cause. He had mild kidney issues, and the extra potassium from coconut water had become a burden on his system. That was a wake-up call. Because sometimes what's healthy for one person isn't always healthy for everyone. For generally healthy older adults, moderate coconut water can be a great, natural way to restore electrolytes. But for those with kidney conditions or on diuretics, potassium levels must be watched carefully. That's when Mr. George learned something valuable. Listening to your body is an art, but knowing when to ask for professional advice, that's wisdom. Now, coconut water has become part of his peaceful afternoon ritual. A small glass, sipped slowly while admiring his garden, a moment of quiet recharge after a long day. And the benefit wasn't just physical. That moment of stillness, of calm, helped him sleep better. Not just because of electrolytes, but because his mind felt at peace too. So if you've ever felt tired, despite drinking plenty of water, if your legs have been screaming in the middle of the night, maybe what you need isn't more plain water, but the right kind of hydration tailored for an aging body. Try a cool glass of coconut water after your afternoon walk or gardening. Don't wait for the next leg cramp to start taking care of yourself. But don't forget, if you have kidney concerns or take medications that affect potassium levels, always check with your doctor first. Being proactive should always go hand in hand with being informed. If you're healthy, coconut water can be your gentle evening companion, helping you drift into sleep without the sting of those silent leg cramps. Do you usually drink fresh coconut water or the bottled kind? Do you sip it after activity or only when you're really thirsty? If you found coconut water helps calm your body, share your experience in the comments. Your honest tip might just be the guiding light someone needs, someone struggling with sleep or those hidden aches. And if this message feels valuable, pass it on to a friend, a loved one, anyone you wish to see live lighter, sleep deeper, and age with a little more peace, just like Mr. George. After soothing the body from the inside out with coconut water, we now move on to a familiar vegetable, one that quietly holds a secret most people never knew. Food 5 is celery. To many, celery is just that crunchy green stalk you throw into a stew or juice if you're trying to eat clean. But few realize it's also one of nature's rare sources of natural sodium. And when used right, that sodium can help regulate blood pressure and support healthy muscle contractions. Every morning, 78-year-old Mrs. Hoa carefully places 2 fresh celery stalks into her juicer, along with a small apple. The low hum of the machine blends into the quiet rhythm of her warm kitchen. She often jokes, "This juicer? It's like an old person's morning alarm clock." But life hadn't always been this calm or healthy for her. Just last year, mornings were a daily battle. She'd wake up with a tightening in her left calf, not sharp pain, but enough to make her dizzy, drained, and unmotivated to face the day. She had always brushed it off as just old age. But one question kept nagging at her. Why did these leg cramps always strike right after waking up before she'd even moved? Then one day, she was watching a health segment on TV and heard a strange phrase, natural sodium from vegetables, and to her surprise, celery was the first food mentioned. The host, a geriatric doctor, explained, while most of us worry about salt-raising blood pressure, sodium from plants, especially celery, can help maintain electrolyte balance, aid muscle relaxation, and stabilize blood pressure gently. That was a light bulb moment for Mrs. Hoa. She had never thought the same vegetables she used to stir-fry with beef in her younger days could now be a key to helping her body finally let go after months of hidden tightness and silent strain. So she gave it a try. Each morning, she started drinking a small glass of fresh celery juice blended with a bit of apple to soften the taste and a squeeze of lemon for brightness. At first, it was just curiosity. She liked the pale green color and the ritual of it all. But within a week, something remarkable happened. No more morning leg cramps. She woke up with ease. Her legs felt lighter, no longer stiff like they were being pulled from the inside. And even better, She felt energized, not sluggish. You might relate to Mrs. Hoa. Maybe you've written celery off as bland, or something only dieters care about. But modern nutrition science shows that natural sodium in celery is more easily absorbed and far less harmful than processed salt. Especially for older adults who often experience electrolyte imbalances due to low sodium diets, diuretics, or simply drinking too much water without replenishing minerals. According to Cleveland Clinic, celery is a plant-based source of natural sodium that supports muscle contraction and gently stabilizes blood pressure, especially helpful for older adults experiencing cramps linked to low electrolyte levels. And in a 2022 webinar by the American Society for Parenteral and Enteral Nutrition, Aspen, Dr. Thafts, Lisa Moskowitz, geriatric dietitian and CEO of NY Nutrition Group, emphasized, many seniors reduce salt intake out of fear of hypertension, but this can backfire, leading to nighttime leg cramps. Celery is a safe way to reintroduce essential sodium, but it should always be paired with regular blood pressure monitoring. That's also why a small amount of plant-based sodium, like what's found in celery, can positively impact muscle tone and the communication between the brain and large muscle groups. And that's exactly why Mrs. Hoa's calves felt so much more relaxed in the mornings, why she felt more grounded, less tense, and truly well. However, celery isn't for everyone to use freely. If you naturally have low blood pressure or often feel lightheaded, it's best to start with a small amount and watch how your body responds. Even the best things, if used the wrong way, can become a burden. Mrs. Hoa, though, was different. She had never taken blood pressure medications, and her body responded well to natural sodium from vegetables. But more than that, she said starting her mornings with a glass of celery juice felt like a small act of self-love, gentle, unhurried, and intentional. She shared that since making the change, she not only experienced fewer leg cramps, she felt like she was reclaiming her mornings. No longer waking in discomfort, but rising with purpose. No longer jolted by pain, but awakened by the soft light of dawn pouring through her window. If you've read this far, maybe you've heard of celery before. Maybe you've hesitated because of the taste or been confused by conflicting advice. But if you're looking for a natural, gentle way to support your blood pressure and help your muscles relax, a small glass of celery juice in the morning might just be worth a try. Start simple. 2 stalks of celery, 1 apple, and a few drops of lemon. Not too much, just 1 small glass. Let your body feel it. Give yourself a few patient days. And if this part of the story feels real, familiar, or valuable, share it with someone you care about. Someone who, just like Mrs. Hoa, deserves a softer, more peaceful start to each day. After a journey filled with gentle, cooling remedies like fruits, vegetables, and coconut water, we now shift towards something a little stronger, but just as healing: salmon. In the next part of our journey, you'll discover why this seemingly fancy fish is actually a natural remedy for joints, muscles, and even mood, especially for older adults who wake up sore, feel constantly tired, or take longer to recover after a restless night. Have you ever eaten salmon regularly, or is it something you only save for special occasions? Mr. George used to think the same. It was a late weekend afternoon. He was sitting on his balcony, legs propped up on a wicker chair, watching the breeze dance through the grass. From the kitchen, the gentle aroma of herbs and steamed salmon drifted through the air, and something about that moment just felt right. Back then, George wasn't much of a fish eater. The smell, the bones, it's just not for me, he used to say. But after years of dull, lingering pain in his knees and ankles, after bottles of pain rubs, quick fixes, and unkept promises, he felt tired. Not just from the pain, but from the sense that his body was slowly wearing down quietly, relentlessly. An old friend, Lorraine, a retired nurse at the local geriatric clinic, suggested something simple. Try eating salmon twice a week, she said. Not to treat the pain, but to nourish your muscles, reduce inflammation, and keep your blood vessels moving freely. She smiled and added, Omega-3 in salmon is nature's gift for aging bodies. We just forget it's there. At first, George was skeptical. But then he read a report from the American Heart Association, which recommended that adults eat fatty fish like salmon at least twice a week to help reduce inflammation and support heart health. And it wasn't just the omega-3s. Salmon is also rich in vitamin D, which supports bone health, eases joint pain, and aids muscle recovery after movement. What surprised George most was this vitamin D doesn't just strengthen bones. It plays a vital role in regulating the immune system and reducing chronic inflammation. According to a study from Harvard School of Public Health, older adults who consume enough omega-3 and vitamin D from salmon experience up to 33% fewer issues with chronic pain and joint disorders. So he gave it a shot. Nothing complicated, just a small piece of salmon, lightly seasoned with lemon juice, pepper, and dill, steamed or baked with vegetables. Tuesday lunch, Saturday dinner, and week after week, it became part of his rhythm. 3 weeks later, Mr. George noticed something unusual. Each morning, as he stepped out of bed, his legs no longer pulsed with that familiar ache. His knees no longer clicked with every movement. And most surprisingly, he found himself wanting to walk more. Not for exercise, but because it felt light. It felt easy. What's fascinating is that salmon doesn't just contain anti-inflammatory omega-3s. It also delivers B-complex vitamins, especially B6 and B12. These nutrients not only reduce inflammation, they also strengthen the nervous system, helping messages flow more smoothly between the brain and the muscles. That's why so many people over 60 who regularly eat salmon report feeling more alert, less tired, and better able to focus. For Mr. George, salmon started as just another healthy food. But over time, it became something more. A small ritual of self-care, a quiet reminder that, at any age, healing is still possible, as long as we believe in it and stay consistent. Have you eaten salmon regularly before? What's your favorite way to enjoy it? Lightly grilled, steamed with veggies, or wrapped in greens with a splash of lemon? If you haven't tried it yet, start small. No need for anything fancy. Just remember, every bite of salmon you eat today might be the reason you move more freely in the months to come. Imagine this. After a few weeks, your joints feel smoother, your steps are lighter, your sleep becomes deeper, more restful, and your body, once tired and stiff, begins to feel quietly alive again. Next, we move from something rich and powerful to something simple, cool, and often overlooked. Greek yogurt. You might be surprised to learn that this fermented food isn't just good for digestion. It plays a hidden role in helping your body absorb vitamin B12, a vitamin most older adults are silently deficient in. And here's what's more surprising. It can even help reduce leg cramps from the inside, through the gut. After a light dinner of steamed salmon and greens, Mr. George often ends his day with something cool and comforting. A small bowl of Greek yogurt, topped with a few fresh strawberries and roasted pumpkin seeds. He says, "It feels like I'm being kind to myself." But few people realize choosing Greek yogurt wasn't just a habit. It was a quiet turning point in Mr. George's healing journey. A few months earlier, he'd been struggling with bloating, indigestion, and strange nagging symptoms, mild leg cramps, sore shoulders, neck stiffness without any clear cause. His doctor recommended a blood test, and the results were clear. He was mildly deficient in vitamin B12. A common issue for people over 60, especially those who've taken acid-blocking medication long-term or have absorption issues. Mr. George was surprised. He had always eaten balanced meals. But what he'd never realized was this. It's not just about eating enough, it's about absorbing what you eat. That day, his nutritionist, Dr. Stephanie Griggs, a gut health specialist from UCLA Health, told him something that stuck. Gut health is the gateway to full body health. And at your age, rebuilding your healthy gut bacteria is one of the best ways to help your body absorb key nutrients, especially B12. Probiotics, the good bacteria found in fermented foods like Greek yogurt, can help balance the digestive system, improve nutrient absorption, and even boost the enzymes needed to extract and process vitamin B12 from animal-based foods. But what made Mr. George truly nod in understanding was something else. Greek yogurt isn't just good for the gut, it's a high-protein powerhouse. And for older adults facing sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, that kind of protein is gold. It helps repair muscle, maintain strength, and support an active life, all while quietly easing those stubborn leg cramps from the inside out. After 2 weeks of having Greek yogurt every morning, Mr. George noticed something. The changes weren't dramatic, but they were clear enough to make him believe. His stomach felt lighter, his sleep deeper, and most noticeably, those early morning leg cramps had nearly disappeared. What surprised him even more? Despite having had a tough history with dairy and lactose, Mr. George digested Greek yogurt with ease. That's because Greek yogurt has lower lactose than regular milk and contains gut-friendly probiotics, making it a gentle option for an aging digestive system. A 2021 study from the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging confirmed it too. Older adults who consume probiotic-rich Greek yogurt at least 5 times per week experienced a 27% lower rate of leg cramps, indigestion, and sleep disturbances compared to the control group. Mr. George says, some changes don't need to be loud, just steady. Like that morning bowl of yogurt, a quiet reminder that our bodies need slow, steady nourishment from the inside out. Have you ever tried switching your morning toast for a cool cup of Greek yogurt, topped with a few berries and a handful of seeds? Have you ever felt your stomach ease or slept more soundly after embracing fermented gut-friendly foods? If not, today might be the perfect day to start. Try it for just 1 week. Notice the change in your belly. Notice your sleep. Notice how it feels to wake up calm, clear, and whole again. Because sometimes what your body needs isn't a pill. It's a small bowl of something quietly powerful, something that's been waiting for you in the fridge all along. So now we've journeyed through a list of seemingly familiar foods: eggs, bananas, salmon, and met some surprising heroes along the way: seeds, celery, Greek yogurt. But we're not done yet. There's one more gift from nature, something sweet, often sitting quietly in the corner of your kitchen, yet holding the power to boost circulation, ease muscle spasms, and calm a weary heart. Get ready to meet the final food in our journey of 8 powerful remedies: strawberries and blueberries for better circulation and fewer leg cramps. Are berries already part of your breakfast? If not, this next chapter may change the way you see that small bowl of fruit on your counter. Ellen, age 69, from Oregon, has a lovely little ritual. Each morning, after a gentle yoga session and a breath of fresh morning air, she blends a smoothie with almond milk, a few ice cubes, a handful of frozen blueberries, and 3 strawberries freshly picked from her backyard. She calls it her gift for the legs. It may sound odd, but it's the result of a healing journey no one saw coming. A journey that started with muscle cramps so intense she had to stop her morning walks. At first, she thought the cramps were from dehydration or low magnesium, so she drank plenty of water. She added seeds, ate bananas, but the pain didn't stop. Her calves still tightened painfully each time she climbed the stairs. Then one day, a geriatric specialist at her local wellness center suggested she take a peripheral circulation test. The results showed a mild reduction in blood flow to her lower limbs. Nothing dangerous, but enough to cause numbness, soft tissue pressure, and those stubborn leg cramps, especially at night. Dr. Edward Lamont, a geriatric cardiologist at Johns Hopkins Medicine, explained, when blood circulation to the legs is poor, muscle tissues get less oxygen. This is a hidden but significant cause of nighttime leg cramps. Improving circulation is just as important as restoring electrolytes. And when it comes to improving circulation, 2 small fruits stand out: strawberries and blueberries. Not only are they rich in vitamin C, which helps strengthen blood vessels, these little berries are also packed with anthocyanins, a group of powerful antioxidants known to relax blood vessels, boost capillary elasticity, clear out inflammation, causing free radicals, and ultimately help blood flow more smoothly to your arms and legs. A 2020 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found people who consumed 1 to 2 servings of berries daily experienced 18% better peripheral circulation than the control group, with significantly lower rates of muscle soreness and cramps. From that day forward, Mrs. Ellen changed her breakfast. No more processed cereals, sugary donuts, or muffins. Instead, she started her mornings with a bright, vitamin-rich berry smoothie, light on the stomach, easy to digest, and full of natural energy. Within 2 weeks, she noticed it. Her legs no longer felt sore when she walked through the garden. She could sit down and stand up without needing to brace herself on the table. And most of all, she said, I didn't just feel lighter in my body. My mind felt clearer too, maybe because my blood was finally flowing to my brain the way it should. Strawberries and blueberries, tiny fruits often treated like decorations or dessert, turned out to be a gentle key to releasing tension in the muscles, feeding circulation to tired tissues, and bringing comfort in the most natural way. You can eat them fresh, blend them into smoothies, stir them into Greek yogurt, or sprinkle them on your morning oatmeal. You don't need a lot, just a small handful, eaten regularly. You'll feel the difference. And every time you reach for berries instead of a sugary snack, you're not just choosing less sugar. You're choosing better circulation, lighter steps, and a healthier heart. What's your favorite morning berry? Strawberries? Blueberries? Maybe raspberries? Let us know in the comments. Your simple breakfast might just inspire someone else to begin their gentle journey too. And if you're still unsure, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Even adding a few berries to your morning can be an act of everyday kindness to your body. Because in the end, every berry, every spoon of yogurt, every glass of coconut water. They all weave together into a new rhythm of living. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. Just like the people who are walking this path in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Because taking care of your health after 60 isn't about starting over. It's about continuing with more ease, more control, and more love for yourself, day by day. And Mr. George is living proof of that. He hasn't reinvented his life. He's still himself, living in his small Arizona home, waking up early, sometimes forgetting the salt in his soup, and occasionally saying with a smile, "I'm old now. My legs aren't as quick as they used to be." But something has changed. Now he doesn't lie awake at night, afraid of another leg cramp. He no longer needs to grip the edge of the bed to stand, and when breakfast comes, he knows exactly what to choose. Not just to fill his stomach, but to feel lighter, to breathe easier, to sleep peacefully the next night. No miracles, no magic pills, just small choices, made consistently. And it's those quiet choices that have gently healed the fatigue left behind by the years. You might not see change overnight, but if you start today with one boiled egg, one ripe banana, one small handful of seeds, you might start to feel something shifting. A deeper sleep, a lighter step, a quieter morning inside your own mind. The journey won't be perfect, but it will be real. And what about you? Is there something in your body whispering, "I need to be heard"? Have you been enduring instead of caring? If so, we invite you to share a few words in the comments. We and the Golden Wise Elders community are here to listen. If this video gave you even a small sense of hope, please give it a like. If you know someone who needs to be reminded that there's another way to live, gentler, lighter, please share it. And if you like more stories like this, real advice from real lives, hit the subscribe button. Here at Golden Wise Elders, we don't promise overnight healing, but we do promise to walk with you. One step, one meal, one restful night at a time. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. And remember, you are not alone.